All right, y'all. The Sweet 16 is officially here, and this bracket has everything. Blue bloods, fresh blood, rivalry, smoke, and one team that basically kicked the front door in from the first four. Texas is the lone double-digit seed still standing. Nebraska is in its first Sweet 16 ever. Iowa and St. John's are both back here for the first time since 1999. 10 of the 16 teams left have never won the whole thing. That is premium March chaos. In the West, we have Purdue and Texas open with pure offense. Purdue is a projection favorite. Purdue ranks number 1 in Ken Palm offensive efficiency. Texas is 15th. And the Longhorns got here by surviving the first four and then defeating BYU and Gonzaga. This is scoreboard stress. Arizona and Arkansas, also heat. Arizona comes in 34-2 with Big 12 regular season and tournament titles. And the Wildcats hold Ken Palm's top spot as the nation's most efficient team. Arkansas brings Darius Acuff Jr., who led the SEC in scoring and assists. Acuff versus Jaden Bradley. That's the candy. In the South, Nebraska and Iowa feel like the neighborhood fight block. They split the season series. There is no love lost. Iowa knocked out reigning national champ Florida, and Nebraska had never won an NCAA tournament game until last week. That is house money energy. Then Houston and Illinois bring the heavyweight vibe. Houston is basically at home with the Toyota Center less than 3 miles away, and both teams are chasing a first national title. No fluff, just ball. Friday, Duke gets St. John's in a historic East Coast-style clash in D.C. Duke has youth and firepower, with Cameron Boozer already stacking double-doubles. St. John's got here behind that veteran front court and is back in the Sweet 16 for the first time again since 1999. Then UConn and Michigan State give us a straight-up heavyweight collision. Recent title pedigree on one side, Tom Izzo consistency on the other. In the Midwest, Michigan and Alabama bring the brand-name collision. Michigan went 33-3 and became the first Big Ten team in 50 years to win every conference road game. Alabama brings the nation's highest scoring offense. And then Iowa State and Tennessee wrap it all up with a rock fight. Explosive threats, elite defense, and both teams ranked in the top 13 by Ken Palm. So that's your Sweet 16 fast break. Offense, rivalry, history, heavyweights, chaos, and pressure everywhere. This round has everything. Let's get it. What's up, y'all? The women's Sweet 16 is here, and this bracket is loaded. You got powerhouse favorites, dangerous climbers, revenge spots, and one team that flat out refused to act normal in March. The Sweet 16 matchups are UConn versus North Carolina, Notre Dame versus Vanderbilt, UCLA versus Minnesota, Duke versus LSU, Louisville versus Michigan, Texas versus Kentucky, South Carolina versus Oklahoma, and finally TCU versus Virginia. Let's start with Virginia because that is your bracket crasher. All right, they came out of the first four, then beat Georgia, and then stunned Iowa 83-75 in double overtime. Reuters says the Cavaliers became the first women's team ever to reach the Sweet 16 from the first four. That is some real March chaos. Up top, UConn still looks terrifying. The Huskies rolled Syracuse 98-45, while North Carolina got past Maryland 74-66. So now you've got a 1 seed that looks sharp and a 4 seed that absolutely earned its seat at the table. Right next to that, Notre Dame upset Ohio State 83-73, and Vanderbilt handled Illinois 75-57. And that one feels like a sneaky stress game, if you will. Out west, UCLA and Minnesota have upset alert energy written all over them. UCLA beat Oklahoma State 87-68, but Minnesota got here by slipping past Ole Miss 65-63, and that is exactly the kind of close game confidence that can make a favorite uncomfortable. And then Duke gets LSU in a straight style clash. Duke advanced by beating Baylor 69-46, and LSU blasted Texas Tech 101-47. One side wants control, the other side wants fireworks. And Saturday gets mean too. Louisville edged Alabama 69-68. And Michigan ran through NC State 92-63, so that one has real heavyweight potential. Texas dropped 100 on Oregon. Kentucky survived West Virginia 74-73, and that matchup feels like power versus poise. And then South Carolina versus Oklahoma has built-in revenge energy. South Carolina crushed USC 101-61. Oklahoma beat Michigan State 77-71. And now the Gamecocks get one of the few teams still standing that already know what it takes to beat elite competition. TCU and Virginia close the slate, and that one is simple. Can the Cinderella keep dancing? So that's your Women's Sweet 16 fast break. UConn pressure, Virginia chaos, UCLA on alert, Duke versus LSU fireworks, Texas force, Michigan versus Louisville muscle, and South Carolina with revenge on the table. This round is stacked, y'all. Let's go.